Oh, hey, I'm a specimen. I always wanted to be a specimen, although from the look of it, I'm a specimen that nobody bothered to wake up for the lab break. We're not going to get to rise up against the inferior minds that tried to control us. I'm digging that soundtrack, but it sounds like the riot's in the other room. It's so distant. Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again to Gary's Mod. And today, the map we're going to be exploring is GM Flux, a weird abstract map that is sort of in the vein of the old Nipper maps. In fact, I thought it was one of Nipper's when this was first suggested by someone on the Discord. However, I actually found out that it is inspired by those works and others. But this actually just came out a few months ago. Well, the real abstraction is the fact that we've apparently unleashed a bunch of Gary's Mod players onto this world, which sort of makes sense. Because the reason I chose to do this is because channeling Nipper's maps means that we're kind of going back to that 2008 style of just total insanity Gary's Mod maps. A time when players were kind of for the first time gaining the ability to create whatever worlds they wanted and just kind of having fun with it and wreaking havoc. I don't know, I'm really nostalgic for that time, because around 2008 was when I was first getting into Gary's Mod, and stuff like this used to be the norm. Now, don't get me wrong, as we've seen on this channel, the medium has evolved a lot in maturity. But that doesn't mean I don't still love the abstract insanity that can be wrought. So, let's cross a familiar-looking light bridge, or dark bridge, depending on how you look at it, and see what we're doing here. Ooh, lights in the sky, the cosmos are our disco ball. Now, I'm not super worried about the soundtrack. Normally, I'd be concerned about copyright, and this is going to be really funny if I have to put a big muted because copyright over this. But I looked at the sources on the Steam page, and they should all be from games, which generally doesn't have an issue with Content ID. Hey, there's a big old bloodstain at the base of this tree. It's so weird, the realism mixed with the low-res sky and the colorful lights flying about. It seems like this place acts as something of a hub. The reflections on the glass of those doors are staring at me from the darkness like a spider looking out of a cave. Or really just a hole. If you encounter a spider that's that big in comparison to a cave, you've got problems. Hey, music, do you want to rejoin me? You were kind of my safety blanket here. Okay, I guess not. Hey! What are you doing there, kaleidoscope of info player start? Look at that. Oh, that is so weird. The parallax of seeing a bunch of you move in 3D space as I get closer and farther away from you. All while it looks at first like you're an art piece on the wall. Oh, you are staring me down for all the lack of optimization in Macy State Psychiatric Center, aren't you? So many hammer users will never forgive me for the state of that thing. Well, I found the lounge. We've got a Dr. Kleiner model. You know, I like to think that static player models in a hammer map are actually kind of like the Buckingham Palace guards. They simply cannot react to anything you do. That's a myth, by the way. They are soldiers and they absolutely can. The Half-Life 1 G-Man ball, which oddly enough is a structure I've seen many times. The Room, starring and created by Tommy Wiseau. And a cube of water. Wait, can we drown in the cube of water? Oh, this did not pair well with my 3 years of mime school. So, funny thing about a no-draw texture, if you can see it, it's not a true no-draw texture. Hey, what are you guys up to, and what the heck are... See, this is the kind of thing you used to see in Gary's Mod. Somebody made a dog out of a suitcase and bones. This is what you used to see when you hopped onto a server, just random creations, just parts welded together, and that was always the appeal. I haven't played Garry's Mod as Garry's Mod in such a long time, but you know, when I first got it, it was for character posing and making funny faces and doing stuff like on the GMOD Idiot Box. And then by the time I was 15, it was about building vehicles and making weapons and doing cool bases. And now it's about exploring and narrative experiences and all that stuff. So, I mean, it really speaks to the versatility. This thing was first made available in like 2006, and it's been revised and added onto since then to keep it running on modern systems. But most importantly, the community has made it into all these different things. Its direction has been player-driven. Gordon, you look absolutely outraged at whatever's going on this empty TV. There's no screen. Oh, also, neither of you have opposable legs. But it is kind of funny to see Info Player Start Gordon hanging out with Half-Life 1 Gordon. Funnily enough, Half-Life 2 never had a model. Or at least I don't think he has an in-game model. No, I would have seen it everywhere by now. Ooh. Look at that, we can stand right in the center. Feel like I'm being teleported or something. But teleportation is ridiculous. That could never happen in Garry's Mod. Whoa. Look at these reflective floors. That's the kind of thing that I'm used to seeing in games, but I'm now realizing I don't usually see this in Garry's Mod or Source in general. How are you pulling this off? This has got to be like a custom mirror texture or something, right? With like a lowered opacity floorboard texture over it? So that appears to be Woody, Gru, and Dr. Doofenshmirtz all fighting to the death in a crowbar battle. Or, wait, no. Either that, or we can't see the player character, but it's a no Russian situation. They must have been stopped at the gate because it didn't make the news. Shut up. My dad works for Valve and will use your decomposing corpse for a model texture. Well, actually, the hidden creepypasta secret of Valve is that all textures are made from corpses. Although I assume that that's a reference to the charpal. You know, I don't have anything to say about all of these except for Maxwell. What are you doing? You don't see anything. I wonder if that's this map. You remember lolcats.com? Apparently it still exists. Oh my! It's the demonetization room. Ow, I just got bonked by the garage door. This seems unfitting music for what we're looking at. Physics and everything. That's the creator after finishing work on this map. Well, that was one hole in the wall. Can't wait to uncover all the others. Ooh, wait. But forget holes in walls for a minute, there's a ladder up here. Okay, why are these windows different from these windows? Is the same true up here? Doesn't seem to be anything to them. And I cannot fall into the void, though I can look down into it. Kind of makes one wonder why there's a ladder here at all. And the answer is why not? Yep, can we make it over there? Ah, not quite. Although maybe we could. Alright, let's go through this one, around that corner. Ooh. Yet these dark hallways with the neon lights, definitely a Nipper staple. This, however, looks far more realistic were it not for the sort of weird and goofy soundtrack playing right now. Makes me feel like the escaping protagonist of a 90s hacker thriller. Hey you! Look at that. Now, see, here's the thing, is this texture's probably always been in Half-Life 2. It's so awesome that even decades later, something can gain significance. Such an old asset. And now we're seeing it in something that is essentially a modernized version of the 2008 jank. And this was itself an old texture even in 2008. Ooh. God is dead. Now all that's left is a battle between two doors. Oh, and the giant pit that's opened up in between them. Okay, we'll have to try jumping down there a little later. You know, it's so easy to forget that void in this isn't really void, that there is in fact a wall there, that all this has to connect in some way, because somehow this fully sold the illusion to me that I had entered a different plane. Oh my. Well, I'm gonna be at this for a while, it seems. It's really funny because the workshop advertises 50 unique rooms. This is probably where a lot of it comes from. Ooh, it's the sensory deprivation room. Hang on. What else does one need in life? Can we interact with this window? No? Well, it's a fixer-upper. It's a blank slate. It's the start of any Animal Crossing home. See, I was thinking for a second maybe there's a mirror halfway through, but I don't see myself moving, at least not from here. This might be the real deal. It's just this after this. And the doors open outward, annoyingly enough, just with different configurations of paint on the walls. It's like this whole thing is one giant theoretical Rubik's Cube. Okay, are we really gonna look into each and every one? From the outside at least. Come on. Ooh, mixing it up. Almost there. That weird moment when we turn around and find as much distance as when we came. Only we've made it a lot spookier because those doors are letting some light out, casting shadows throughout the hall, only obscuring the right in, well, blockage via door. It almost feels like each one is someone leaning out to stare at me after I've made some commotion out here and done something wrong. Ooh, stripes. But only along one wall, and the windows are no longer here. Things sure are getting Greek in here. And we've reached the end, where we finally discover 3D. And a need to walk all the way back, which is gonna be mighty spooky. This reminds me of like a source version of exploring abandoned hospitals. Well, that was that. Yep. Let's just hop over the pit to the abyss and see what's through the other door. Locked. Oh. Okay, that guy wins the standoff by default. Ow! I was eaten. Alright, crawling out of the tube for round 2. I guess I don't need to go back down there, but I should point out that yes, one of those cars was a texture on a cube. Or a rectangular prism, for those who want to be pedantic. Anyways, what's down this hall? Whoa, the pathway of time. And the doll who controls it all. It's about how, like, our childhood is fleeting, man. And all these moments are just suspended in time, now just memories that we can't reach out and touch. Anyway, I definitely want to sprint along this as fast as I possibly can. Whoomp. And into Tron. A gallery of zaniness, that's what's so cool about this. Ooh, but this room takes place in the same universe as the hub. Oh, huh. I guess we found the guy who makes all these holes in the walls. And potentially a path back. Well, thanks for being a trailblazer, because I certainly wouldn't put a vehicle I own through all this stress. These are pretty short paths. And some shower drains that really aren't doing their jobs. How still is this? That's pretty cool, though. Just a narrow waterfall going straight into the pool. Something that looks like an aberration and at the same time like it's meant to be there. How deep is this thing? I also, of course, have to take the opportunity to dive in because most maps would kill me or pull some kind of shenanigan. Yep. As it turns out, the pool is just a pool, although it is weirdly uncomfortable when there is no shallow end. Okay, I just had to get closer to make sure that was indeed the reflection of the door and not some kind of weird pipe to crawl through. Back into the Neon Club entrance. Look at that, it goes downward. Like, I always find things like this so cool, and Nipper was definitely the pioneer of this. It's showed up in a number of maps since. Having a space where you're utterly unable to navigate except by the sort of depth perceived by only a few lines. Which is always a bit of a shock when you actually walk onto something you can look at. And we're back. However, I would be crazy not to take advantage of the downward trend. When you're not afraid to dance, the moon's your disco ball. Oh no, it's just an actual disco ball. I thought it was the moon for a second. That would have been really cool. It seems like this is all there is to this. I mean, it makes sense that this would be down low. After all, it is an underground club. Can I jump the pool? I've watched enough America's Funniest Home Videos to know that diving board stunts never go wrong. Whoa. Yeah, this map is definitely playing with the darkness and the shorthand you develop for it. Because of course your instinct is that the darkness means a void like this that you'll fall through, that you won't have anything to stand on. These hallways train you that there could be something there, that and other parts of the map. But it goes back and forth. It goes back and forth between being a wall and being in the absolute absence of a wall or anything else. This really is like coming upon a middle school party, where they all know they're supposed to be dancing, but none of them are actually into it. Oh, and also the music is terrible. Middle schoolers suck and everything they like is dumb, is basically what I'm saying. But even these monstrosities are clipped. Also, I was over this for just a second. Hang on. Oh. For a brief moment, I believed I could fly. Clone Iteration 3 is reborn. And it looks like somebody was punished for not enjoying the show. Watermelon. Well, we can take you with us and see just how far down this goes. Whoa! I didn't even get to see that before. What else can we throw in here? There was a cinder block a little while back. That's what happened to us? Man, that's scary. Whoa. Tell you what else is scary. It's like those glass floors over the fish tanks at SeaWorld. The bus station edition. For a second, I thought those drum beats were my feet on the glass. Oh, look, it's a perfect mirror image. Even the paintings are completely inverted on the other side, but I know this engine well. I know it's not actually a reflection. No, it is not. They really made crossing that feel like some kind of Indiana Jones puzzle, huh? And once more, we're greeted by a hole in the ground. Alright, can't you just imagine this whole room, this whole visual right here, as a Yumi Nikki graphic? Wonder what dream that would enable. I wonder what dream this enables, too. Those commuting lights in the sky, uninterested in the affairs of mere mortals down here, are the one constant. But I'll tell you what I see across the gap, a really dark and really spooky office building. Or at least, that's what it seems like from here. We're gonna have to make some jumps in order to get at it. Yep. Alright. Diagonals. Mind your diagonals! Oh, come on. Yep. Yeah, platforming in VR is kind of awful because I'm doing this with a stick, and pressing down that stick is also sprint, which is needed for a run and jump. Alright, here we go. I was just going to say that the way the shadows fall over this place gives it a nice after-hours feel. Like we've got the office all to ourselves, and the night sky outside means we've got all the time in the world to sleep or indulge in our exploration. It seems like the soundtrack is more interested in treating this as like a 70s horror anthology. I guess you could interpret the whispers and hushes on the soundtrack as lulling us to sleep, but, you know, I certainly don't. And into these. We had to earn getting here, but this path sure is killing me a lot. Oh, and it's another branch. This place is actually huge. Like, it is much more than what I was expecting. Whoa, and you dropped me out! We found a shortcut. I'll keep that in mind. Hey, can we shortcut ourselves back? No? What happens if I do jump into the pit? A question I ask myself frequently. Absolutely nothing. It's just a glowing floor beneath a not glowing floor. Here we are back at the crossroads. The question now is which way to go. That feels like a threat when left in front of you. That sounded like waves crashing against a shore at night. Oh, I'm gonna have to get down real low for this. This feels weirdly cozy in a dreamlike way. Vibrant but still somewhat faded colors. A place that looks old but still comfortable. And plenty of space to be alone together. The sort of divided nature of the booths means that one group can be having a conversation in one corner and another in another, and it's almost like you're in separate rooms and yet you're still enjoying each other's company, but only to the extent that you choose. The feeling of floating over nothingness is just a bonus. I don't know, the idea that you had to come pretty far to get here, that you can be isolated by these garage doors, if you so choose. Well, my flashlight doesn't do me any good in here. Still, this is going to be requiring a lot of backtracking in order to see everything. Whoa, look at this. Ah, that is so cool. The tininess of the texture scaling makes it seem so distant. And man, I gotta hand it to you, you have found the best apartment on GMBR Pitfalls. If the plan was to start using the back rooms as infinite space for living and storage, well, I think we've definitely found prime real estate. Start working our way back in the direction of stuff we were going to go to. Might save us some travel later. Oh, and let's hope we don't fall through the map again. See, what this map has demonstrated is that it's willing to betray our trust in these hallways. Huh. By the way, I just had a real sinking feeling coming up a ramp in the dark. When the nothingness is moved away to reveal something, kinda like holding my view while I walk down this hallway. Look at this. Now this is like more classical liminal space imagery. Indoor, rough terrain, and really tiny trees. So strange to make me feel a giant in a hallway. But where does it all end up? All these things seem to weave around each other in a way that's kind of difficult to account for. Oh, the no-clip run of this is going to be crazy. And maybe impossible to look at because all the connecting areas are completely dark. Even a no-clip run might not necessarily reveal how it all connects. The world's most shallow pool. I gotta check and see if the creator has made other maps, you know? It's all made with an awareness of how the medium has evolved. That, of course, including a lot of liminal concepts. But really, in a lot of ways, it just feels like a better, more modern execution of a very old concept. It's like an into the radius anomaly or something. Look at this. Up and down, smooth gradients. I can almost see this as like a monkey ball track or something. Can't you just imagine being like a ball, having to tilt the map and roll all up and down this? It actually exits in several areas. This has got to be one of the most connective maps I've ever seen. And once more, it is going to be extremely difficult to actually make sense of it. But I guess that's the idea. I'm throwing myself back a few years here, but I cannot help but be reminded of GM Construct Beta 13. I swear I just saw a flicker. There's something over there. Oh. You want to know what's weird? Because of the contrast with the darkness, it actually sold the illusion for a second. It's like all my senses believe it, even for as unconvincing as it is. Oh, we're in the grungy apartments now, huh? Once more, I mistake the drum beats for my own actions. In that case, I thought it was playing a knocking sound effect. Okay, I had to jump. I had to try it. I had to find out if I would actually be brought up by it. Huh. Somebody tell Ina we found the bathroom. Wait. Stall game time? Look at this, like a black, rough textured stall setup. And we're back around to here, so at least things do connect in that way. Maybe this area is more self-contained than I thought. But it definitely gives the appearance of being infinite, that you're always making choices and always leaving things behind, and that is how you sell a map as being much bigger than it really is. I see someone has gone ahead and put the colors back on their shelves. Tuck them in for bed. Look at that, 2 different kinds of doors right beside each other. Combined with the soundtrack, this kind of feels like a school courtyard. And here's where we connect onto the grass anomaly. Seriously, I cannot help but be reminded of Into the Radius with all this. Oh, and it's also our ticket to the higher levels. So we can go ahead and check out some of these things. Something tells me we're going to be coming in and out of here like a Scooby-Doo door gag. Hey, we found our spot in an 80s or 90s music video. Just imagine the camera starting in front of me while I do my bit, and then it looks upward and starts shooting into the sky like a star. Stars, of course, notoriously also acting as cameras in bit music videos. Oh no, it's continuing. No, imagine the camera is right in front of me. I'm doing my little dance, singing my songs, well, lip-syncing 2 songs. And you just see the environment turning behind me as the camera stays locked on my face. Everyone imagine that. Everyone produce this music video for me in your mind, because I'm too cheap and lazy to do it myself. I really hope I don't have to mute any of these. I don't think I should have to, but you just never know. Ooh. The sort of granite texture kind of reminds me of something like the utility room, only much, much more upbeat in the way it's presenting itself. I mean, something like this could easily have a lot of gravity, the weight of the end of the world upon it. But it's got this soundtrack, and so it really does just feel more like a music video. Like a curiosity more than anything else. I feel like things are weird. Like I'm bumping into things. In these corners here, I can't touch them. Is there supposed to be something here? Oh well, no matter. We are out. Whoa. Feels like we've made it to the promised land. Let's dive in. Yep. It wasn't quite deep enough for that. I'll accept my lumps. But there's nowhere to go from here. I walked in here and I instantly thought of a game I haven't thought of in years. And that's... I can't remember which it was, but there was something like this, I feel, in either Hendicad or Cement Mixing Simulator. So that was this. Now what's this way? Oh, we're experiencing a house shift. We've entered the Federal Bureau of Control now. I see how it is. Dude, I love the music choices on this map. Whether it ends up being copyright friendly or not, it's just so cool. And it takes something that I feel is kind of become normalized in Garry's Mod maps and is turning it on its head. Because a lot of these maps are strange and kind of use their silence to create the discomfort that they're going for. With this, it's not really doing that, even though it uses some of the same architecture and common ideas. See, the trick is to always crouch jump because that gives you a little bit of extra clearance. Not that it matters much anyway, aside from the accomplishment. Yep, we can even land all the way over here. Well, that was fun. Nice little interactive exhibit, because we made it so. Actually, combined with the music, it almost makes it feel like this is a trial. A trial that we're going through to prove our worthiness to the lights. And in a place as grand as this, how can you not feel that there's some kind of deity that you need to prove your worth to? This is their world after all, we're just living in it. Right until we find the tunnel to the pool rooms. Wow, I was kidding. Wait. This looks familiar. Yes! 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 This is from the tutorial in Voices of the Void! No way! That is so cool! This is the closest I have gotten to playing Voices of the Void in VR. I know there's a mod for it. I'll have to try that at some point. Actually, you would be the rocks. The rocks that we need to complete this segment. Or rather, in order to painstakingly break some of the things that are here to complete this segment. Thankfully, it seems like we don't have any such needs. Man, that is awesome. I am so pleased that somebody knew about that and put it into a Garry's Mod map. Ooh. That took me a second. I mean, I was looking at this, and at first I thought it was a parking lot under sodium vapor lamps. It took a little bit of moving and getting the 3D view before I realized we're in a train tunnel with a lot of traffic, so we're going to want to be careful when crossing. Is this bringing us back to where we came from? It is. I just have no conception of where all this leads. Very familiar soundtrack. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Wait, have we been through this one over here? I don't recall. Oh, there's two ways it can lead, too. Well, we haven't been here. Oh, hey, it's the Entity Room. And another review. Hey, can we walk through this? No. That would be the site of a hidden doorway. And look at all these dev textures. See, I love stuff like this because it's not only goofy in its own way, it's just an in-joke about Source in general. I mean, because after all this time, a lot of players kind of know how the Source engine works, some of what goes into it, and so to see these developer assets just kind of laid bare with this music, the fact that, like, even at the basest level, these aspects of Source are a meme shows that literally every aspect of it has been memed. And it doesn't feel stale because it still has such a huge base and there's still new things being done with it. Those weird shadows and light rays form a really weird end to this bridge. It almost seems like the actual textures on the end are corrupted until you get closer. It's like a bare wooden version of the night office we found upstairs. Although, I will admit, I have just been swinging my arms back and forth to the music this entire time in every single room. Never seen one of these end in a ladder before, I'll give it that. And we're back. I think we may have been here before. It's like a disjointed lullaby. Meals, rooms, barbers. I could use 2 of those things. Hey, any of you guys seen my friend? Lenny? Lenny? Lenny! Instantly recognized. I love it. Alright, let's get down here. I've been asked by a lot of you if I've ever played Red Dead Redemption 2. Yes, I have. I think it's one of the greatest games ever made, obviously. I wouldn't play it on the channel because it's gigantic and massive, but no, absolutely, absolutely love it. And it's crazy how iconic it is. I read a review once that said that Red Dead Redemption 2 could easily be 5 seasons of one of the greatest TV shows ever made, and it's the most apt comparison I've ever heard. I don't know. I just wanted to make sure that more people hear about this underappreciated indie gem. Imagine a bad dream that feels like it's holding your hand through it. Like it just wants you to see all the weirdness, but doesn't want you to be too scared even while it's showing you scary things. Well, actually, I suppose that's what children's horror is, and, you know, I really love my children's horror. Which is why I love horrifying children. Whoa. Huh, it's where the 2 planes meet. The light and the dark shattering into each other, and neither one are reality. But then again, with a bar there and kind of a comfy plaza over here, literally plaza exit, I kind of get the impression that this is more of a DMZ, a truce zone. Look, see, they've even got a Christmas tree. That's how you know it's a truce. Yep. That's a World War I reference. You guys come to Gary's Mod videos for those, right? Oh, man. Oh, man. This was designed specifically to piss me off. Yep. Okay, no, we're not doing this. There we go. This is like Man of Steel, when they, like, bring in, that was me doing air quotes, Superman, and they have him, like, sitting at the table in the interrogation room with the handcuffs on, and then when it's time for him to, like, finally stop playing around, he just sort of stands up and walks over to the window. Like, it's literally like he's not even wearing them. So, you do come here often? Well, that's for you. I'm glad you're doing better now. He doesn't look like he's doing better. I will enter this without question. See, nothing happened. 6 out of 10 times, it's been fine. Which makes it a safe bet. Okay, well, the back of bars is traditionally where cubes are stored. I thought that was a light post from a distance. That's something emanating from a toilet. Which, oh my. I didn't even register what this was. It's like somebody tossed a pizza out of the void and it just draped itself over the very top. Like there's some kind of darkness monster down there, like, oh man, I almost got it all the way up. Crawling back through the portal of despair. Got a couple more avenues to explore. You know, I do wonder if we've actually gotten close to any place we've already been. I just never know where I am with relation to anything else in this place. I mean, this is very clearly inspired by Nipper maps, but it's also much more expansive. Where those tended to be shorter and weirder, it's got the volume to be sure. Okay, that goes back to where we would have gone. And this brings us back to here. Oh my god, stop doing that. I didn't like that. I guess that was you warning me. Just make the big jump. Glowing. Here, let my hands ground you to one place in reality. Oh my, to chroma key this would be so much fun. Oh, hey, that's not a mirror? That's... Well, if nobody else will dance with me, at least you will. Me. Or Alan. Hang on, I need to change my player model to Twilight Sparkle and come back here later. Anyway, let me... Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Hang on. How does this work? Oh my... No. 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 Did I open the door or what? What happened here? Okay, feel your way along the walls. It opened outward and thus past the walls made up by those neon nonsense. Oh, that was actually a scary moment. Imagine being trapped in there forever with your mirror. At a certain point, it will consider me crouched. Secret cozy hideout. And even out here, you guys are still traversing back and forth. Ooh. What are you doing down there? Wait, does anything happen if I try to pick you up? The problem is that you're down low, which means you're technically below the floor for me. Oh, we can just barely grasp you, though. Here. Come guard the fridge. Or wait, hang on. Can we do this? Yep. I thought maybe we could send you sledding. Well, I guess we sort of could. I hope you don't have a negative impression of me after this encounter. Anyway, let's go. What I was going to say is, imagine removing my commentary and just beaming this video back into, like, 1995 and showing people, yeah, this is what gaming is. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go find some other things to at. How am I getting out of here? Oh, no, there's an invisible ladder. Okay. Whoa, that actually made me sick a little bit. That was just so smooth and fluid. And the diagonals were all over the place. That was not what I needed to see right now. Oh, my stomach's in knots. All right, let's do it. It doesn't work quite as well as in person, but in VR it sorta works. Wow. A true architectural anomaly. Two identical buildings clipping right through each other, and with the doors open on both. Actually, this sort of reminds me of... Okay, do you know that old, like, movie maker program that Rat Movie was made in? Does that require further context? Some of you will know what I'm talking about, but I feel like if you don't, that was a really weird sentence. I could fall to my knees being back here. But there's no time for knee falling just yet, because there's still plenty we have not seen. If we come back here, which I now realize I didn't have to go back through that tunnel for, we can check this place out. This whole thing is just a lie, look. Actually, no, it's not entirely a lie. Technically, this whole thing is the hallway. There's just a massive, massive gap to mind in between. Yep, definitely feels like a 90s video game in here. Yay, button! Well, let's see where this leads. The Activision offices. I finally found them. And this doesn't want to open. Those weren't clipped at all. Although, given their nature, I imagine doing so would be quite impossible. That one bright blue star in the sky that doesn't so much guide me home as laugh at my misfortune as I die repeatedly in the world it's created. It all means something. It's the pointless tasks we accomplish day by day, our various stations, all ending in a pointless death, having never really lived. And also like attaching thrusters to the G-Man's limbs or something. Oh. Why do I feel like this is some kind of battle music in Off? Yeah, maybe because this whole map feels like a battle in Off. I was actually going to say, when I was in the computer area before, It kind of feels like someplace you might expect to find an Elson raving to himself in the corner. Apartments. And the structure is very different, but given that this is inspired by Nipper maps, I can't help but be reminded of the apartments from Lady in the Water. That was also something that some homage was paid to in one of their maps. Look at me, I'm swimming in the pool even though I'm not a legal resident. Somebody come out and get me. Okay. And nothing this way either. All I know is that I'm definitely starting to see the merit of using unfitting music in an environment that just really doesn't call for it. I don't know, it creates some really interesting dissonance. I don't know if I really have anything specific to say about it, it's just interesting. Just doing weird stuff and seeing what sticks. And that's what's so cool about abstract maps and art in general. Even experimental stuff from the artist's perspective, because even if they don't necessarily know where they're going with it, you can still make something cool and learn that you like something that you didn't even know existed, even something that didn't exist before. Oh, we're Metal Gear Solid 3ing this thing, huh? This is so ridiculous. You know, for a long time, I have been inch by inch playing through Metal Gear Solid 5 at the behest of Elster. Huh, there was no reward for any of this. And the way I've come to think of Hideo Kojima games is as follows, besides mentioning the fact that that is actually a terrifying image from this perspective. So, to think of Hideo Kojima games, just imagine this. Just imagine an empty room. Imagine a normal empty room that the camera holds on for a long time, like a really long time, like an hour and a half. And then after an hour and a half, the door in the back of the room slowly opens, and out of the closet steps a birthday clown. And the birthday clown lazily saunters into the center of the room and lights a cigar and looks dead into the camera and delivers a monologue about human nature in the military-industrial complex. And that's Hideo Kojima games. Oh, right, there's still so much down this hallway that we haven't seen. Oh, we never even looked at this stuff. Alright, you guys ready for this? Up, down, go, up we go, up, down, go, up we go. Well, now I'm a kaiju. Everybody better start being real nice to me. And maybe I won't lower your property value. This is like the ultimate version of those little carpet things that kids had, that I had. You know, the one where it's like a town and all its streets from above that you can run your little toy cars on. Look, a playground. Stomp! Okay, so it's not actually tracking my feet, but I did stomp right there. Up, down, go, up we go, up, down. That is an I Hate Everything reference, or rather his other channel where he posts just like nonsense songs. This whole video has just been me making references and going, wait, Chris, nobody gets that. Run. This sounds Luigi's Mansion-esque. Was this Luigi's Mansion? Or something of the sort? It sounds distinctly Nintendo-ish. Oh, hey. Is this perhaps going to be one of these? Yep, I should have thought. I love how it gives you the sense of panic, so you start running forward. It's literally a room that teases the player. Dissonant peace? Ooh. Now this is truly mirrored. After so many places sort of faked it. I mean, this is faking it too, but you get what I'm saying, right? It was a bit of a respite, though. Oh my god, yep, look at this. We're doing even more tutorial shenanigans. Except these basins are a lot deeper. Huh. Now I'm just thinking there should be bones in one of these. What happens if we remove the idol? It is so cool to see Voices of the Void, something that borrows so heavily from source culture. Which feels weird to say, source culture, but it is a thing at this point. And seeing it, in turn, be recreated in source. Even if it is only in the weird tutorial form that 10 people have seen. Launch. Oh, no. I kind of thought that you would shoot out of me like what happens half the time when I let go of something. Now you're just like a sad, drowned corpse. You actually stopped moving after struggling for a little bit. I feel so bad. Okay, well, I wasn't here. Later, Olivater. Oh. Whoa. We're inceptioning this thing. A reference I'm making without having seen the movie, so I'm a phony. Ugh, that actually felt kind of weird, looking up and walking along that surface for as long as I could. Kind of cool that that one building is textured to be at night. Even the soundtrack here is like a wind, but one that almost seems to be a chorus of people going, whoa, as this whole thing warps upward. We're back to here. Oh, it just came out and around. Wait, but was there more down that way? I need to check. Only up. We only go up, up. There's only room for up, up. Here we stand at the edge of everything. I am like a moth to this flame. Let's kaleidoscope this thing. Whoa! Bounce. Whoop! Wow, all roads really do lead back here. This map is doing some insane things visually. I mean, you'd never find an excuse to do stuff like that in other maps, so why not just play around? That's the thing, is that this isn't, like, cheaply made either. Like, there's real technique in this. Things that they definitely would have struggled to get working. We've seen this already. Hey, so all of this always connected onto there. That's cool. Because in the dark, it's like the hallway just kind of runs out. Those trims just disappear. But I'm getting so ahead of myself. We saw that. That's where we re-entered. All things we've seen down those ways. So this might be the last bit of truly unexplored territory. Ooh. Oh yeah, look at that. We've even got a crazy stylized background to fight against. Fight against who? I don't know, where'd my doppelganger go? Mr. Scratch is nowhere to be seen. Turned out he was a pretty good ballroom dancer, but actually the skills would probably translate to boxing, right? All this stuff has got me really hyped up for nothing. Probably just punch the next person I see. Oh, I don't trust balls from a ball pit that gravity doesn't act on. I've gotten in trouble with ball pits before in these games, with them not actually having a bottom. Let's try it. I still don't entirely trust there to not be a hole funneling me down into the abyss below this. But I guess we made it. The soundtrack downplays itself, but now it's like we're making a journey into some misty mountains to see a monk about our car's extended warranty or something. I don't know what I'm talking about. My brain has been completely fried by this whole experience. Oh, wait, no. Is my brain on the wrong track for a somber moment? Hang on, I came down to this completely unprepared. I need to ditch my notes. It's also a dead end. Do you get it? It's a dead end. Seriously, though, it's peaceful and maybe somewhat melancholy, but not necessarily sad. It kind of feels like the good ending to like a Silent Hill game or something. Oh, I guess we could take our leave. I think there are tracks, I don't know if it uses tracks from Undertale, but I did see that it uses tracks from Deltarune, which I have not played at all, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of them. It's got that sort of style. And we're immediately back into this. Oh my god, there actually was one! Well, I get... Oh. Wait, can we portal this thing? If we don't move at all... No, it's slightly offset. Okay. Last time we went that way. We have not gone this way, nor has anything else connected to it. Oh my god. That is the ultimate mirror jump scare. Nothing to be seen either. Mr. Scratch only shows up in the most inopportune moments, never to the fight. Because he's chicken, that's why. Hey. I saw your drinking buddies over at the bar. And you know you can't have this stuff here. Let me take some for you. It helps me concentrate. Thank you. And I believe I could use some of the good stuff as well. Was I really that low? This map is just doing such cool things, primarily with its music, but its lighting also deserves a ton of praise. I mean, whether it be the almost Suspiria-esque lighting of the hallways to the animated stuff and even just big spectacular set pieces. Look at that. We think we're looking out onto freedom. Really, we're only looking at an even smaller cage. Hang on, this looks a lot like the wooden area we were in before. The one that opened onto a mirrored version of itself. Oh, listen to this. There's a rumble over the soundtrack, like there's something big swimming around beneath the surface. Although, the water doesn't actually seem all that deep. Look at this. Blinding bright, but it's only reflections on endless fog. And a free boat, because no one's here to stop me. And here, music leaves us entirely, one of the rare moments that's been true on this map, even since Spawn. Because it seems like even for all the silliness, the creator, really was just experimenting, and some things need to have a certain mood. Although the map does feel like everything belongs together in the zaniness, it doesn't mean it holds one emotion. It almost feels like a bit of a more subdued version of the Ethosaur maps, which I believe I brought up earlier. I don't know what one could be building out of these platforms over here, what they're meant to contain. But all I can say is, it kind of feels like I would want to take my shoes off and just kind of dangle my feet in the water for a little while. At least until we hear whatever that thing creating the rumble was coming back. Still, there's something nice about this. About low visibility in daylight. It's like all the comfort of night with none of the fear. So long as you bring sunglasses with you into the fog. Well, just one door left, and then we can go for our no-clip run. Were it so easy. We are off to see the wizard. Locked and locked. There is no stopping once you're in the rainbow tunnel. But I, of course, still have to try them all. Oh, let's do it. A lot of things flashed in my mind for what could be behind this door. A warehouse break room was not one of the things. No, wait, maybe we should have ended on the other thing with the boat and the fog and the cool speeches. Just doing one more pass. Yes, because I was pretty sure that there was something we had not seen. This is it. This is the real end. Okay, that's much better than a break room. And look. That actually stopped my soul right there. What the heck? Your dark, dead eyes staring at me from across the room. You look like a bookend. It's like the children's section of a library. With a scare child specifically meant to keep them off the mat. We can see those lights flying by, but there's like a breath, almost like this place is haunted and we're intruding. They've specifically captured the lighting of a children's room at night. I do wonder what inspired this. It's definitely creeping me out, and once more, if it weren't for the soundtrack, I probably would have come away with a completely different intuition, something more comforting and nostalgic. But with the music there, it still feels appropriate. Music is like modules that you can slide in and out of any scene, I swear. But if that is to be our last room, and with nothing much more to say, that was GM Flux, and it is certainly a worthy successor to the Nipper maps and really a bunch of other inspirations that are listed. And it was so cool having been in these maps and in this community for all this time and being able to sort of identify those inspirations. Not only within Source, I mean, it's mostly that, but also from other places as well. The fact that Voices of the Void is getting mentioned here in big ways, and it sort of makes you realize the connection, how even the tutorial of that feels like surreal or, I guess, abstract mapping artwork. It takes all the conventions and expectations for what a Garry's Mod map is in 2025, but it still uses them to create something that feels like it would probably be the top of its class were it released in 2008, yet would still feel at home there. But to really see just how at home this home is, I think now's a good time for our no-clip run. I always feel like Omni-Man just backwards flying through the walls like that. The thing about Nipper's maps is that they were never this huge. They were never this much of a gallery of just different images. In a way, they're almost the proto-version of liminal exploration in Garry's Mod. But what this has done is essentially taken those two styles, the old and more modern, and combined them into one thing because ultimately they are extremely compatible. They share a lot of DNA after all. There just seems to be this endless cycle of inspiration in this community, and I suppose for anything. Where in the beginning, this was all very basic. Half the time, these structures would just be made to laugh at the fact that, hey look, we're not game developers and we got our hands on these tools. But over time, people keep raising the bar and raising the bar and raising the bar, and with support from Valve and the community, it's just stayed in the public consciousness long enough to evolve into this on essentially the most unchanged end, the most easily recognizable end. But there are whole maps for this that honestly feel like they could be games in their own right. So much variety. And it's why I believe that even all these years later, Garry's Mod is still the best bang for your buck on Steam by far. At this point, Source is like an organism that's been iterating and evolving for decades. And it felt like an old game when I started playing in 2008, you know, drawing off of Half-Life 2 and CSS, so it really makes me wonder if something like this could last for 20 years and come this far. I wonder how long this is going to go and what it's going to eventually be. I mean, will we eventually look at this nostalgically and think, man, back when Source 1 was in its infancy? I kind of hope that Source 2 takes off and does the same thing, because that'll be a leap forward in terms of capabilities, but something tells me that even then, this will persist. And if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this map out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one. And I'm going to go back in here and just sort of use this as my little cocoon. I don't know what I'm talking about. Go away now.